The man was blown out of the airplane restroom when the airplane suddenly experienced a malfunction. The pilot rushed over to rescue him and provided him with an oxygen mask. He helped the man to a seat and fastened his seatbelt, then handed him an inflatable life raft, informing him that the plane would be making an emergency landing. As they descended below 10,000 feet, the man suddenly realized that the pocket watch his girlfriend had given him had fallen to the floor. Without thinking, he unfastened his seatbelt and rushed over and picked up the pocket watch. Just as he picked it up, the pilot spotted him and yelled at him to put on a life jacket. At that moment, the plane was approaching the sea, and as it made impact, seawater gushed in. The man was engulfed by the water, only desperately swimming upward and gasping for air. However, their respite was short-lived as the plane disintegrated. Quickly deploying the inflatable life raft, the man clung to it as the escape valve carried him upward. However, halfway through, elements of life raft were stuck. The man looked down in despair. Then he realizing that perhaps it wasn't his time to die as the rope miraculously snapped, allowing him to float to the surface along with the life raft. Outside, a fierce storm raged with strong winds and heavy rain. The man struggled to climb onto the raft, and in the next moment, he was blasted away. But quickly, he climbed back onto the raft, gripping it tightly. After a night of storm, he finally hit the rocks and found land. Although he escaped death, it was also the beginning of his suffering, too. The man desperately smashed coconuts against the rocky wall, because he had been stranded on the deserted island for several days without drinking water or eating any food. However, the wild coconuts were too hard to crack open. Frustrated, the man tried securing the coconuts and relentlessly smashed them with a stone, but instead of breaking the coconuts, the stone split in half. Staring at the broken stone, the man noticed a sharp fragment and immediately used it to scrape open the coconut shells. Once all the shells were removed, he forcefully smashed the coconut flesh, finally allowing himself to drink a few sips of water. However, this only solved his immediate thirst issue. By chance, the man caught a small crab, but he doesn't want to eat it raw, decided to create fire by drilling wood. However, despite multiple attempts throughout the day and into the night, he was unsuccessful and even injured himself in the process. The man felt extremely frustrated, but he didn't know how long it would take for someone to discover him. In order to survive, he had no choice but to persist in his efforts to make fire. He regained his patience and succeeded quickly this time. Excitedly, the man danced and sang by the fire, and then proceeded to roast and eat the crab. As time went on, the man remained stranded on the deserted island for 1,500 days. Through his unwavering resilience, he managed to survive.